Dear students, welcome to the virtual and learning environment of Sri Guru Sudhindra College. So in this video, you are going to learn about a Java program, the program number 10 on demonstration of the thread priority. As you all are aware, thread is a very important concept. The multi-threading is a concept which we normally use in the programming. And as you are aware, the individual threads, it runs parallelly. So out of these things, in case if you want to prioritize a specific thread, even that is permitted in Java. So let us understand how to do that. For that, there is a program here. The name of the program, the class, the primary class is threads. Now here in this particular program, the three different classes are defined. Another three different classes are defined because we need the three different threads. Class A, class B and class C, and every class is accessed by using the object OB1, OB2 and OB3. Three different classes, three different objects is set here. Class A, class B, class C, OB1, OB2, OB3. Now let us see what is class A, class B and class C. Class A is this. Class A extends thread, class B extends thread, class C extends thread. So these three classes are somewhat like the copy paste threads. There are no much differences, slightly here and there are some differences. Later let us differentiate. First let us focus on what the class A is. Class A extends thread. It means we are using, okay, there's a word extends. What it indicates? It means we are using inheritance concept, but not multiple inheritance, isn't it? Because in case if you are using multiple inheritance, then we need to use interfaces, and for interfaces we need to use a keyword called implements. But here you are using a keyword called extends. It means the concept is using inheritance. Now, what is there in class A? In class A, there is a method called run, right? Class A, there is a method called run, and it's a built-in method, because as you are aware, whenever you go through the threads, as and when you start the thread, automatically a method runs, and the method is called run method, right? So as and when you start the thread, the method should run, and by default the run method. Now in run method, what is the content? Whatever you want, we can add. So for presentation purpose, a message is included, somewhat like thread A started. Along with that, a loop is taken for I equals to 1, I less than 5 plus plus to present the iterations. Then I value is displayed. Once the run method ends, the last statement is mentioned here, the end of the thread A, right? A class extends thread, a run method which has got two display statements, beginning of the thread, end of the thread. In between that there is a loop with a looping statement. So here this statement is within the loop. The brackets are not used here. If you want, even you can include the bracket. Now same thing, if you copy and paste, then you are going to get class B. In place of A, I am using a class B. Thread B started, thread B ends here, right? I am using a variable called, let me check, yes, so the same variable, right? I itself is used, int I. Here even we are using int I, and here even we are using int I, right? In case if you want, you can use a different methods, right? So the values are different here, thread A, thread B and thread C. However you want, you can present it. Even here if you want, you can make it as J itself variable, and here if you want, you can make the variable as K itself. But however you want, you can, even in this case only the same name is used, because the variable is defined within this particular class, right? So for that particular purpose, class A, class B, and finally there is a class called class C. Now as and when you go through the thread, right, let us go through the main program. Class A, class B, class C. Instead of calling class here, let me call it as a thread, thread A, thread B and thread C. Now here I am setting the priority for the thread. So for threads, there are three kinds of priorities. One is a maximum priority, which means 10. There's another priority called minimum priority, which means 0. And there's another priority called normal priority. Normal priority, it stands for 5. Normal is 5, maximum is 10 and minimum is 0. OB1 dot set priority. Set priority is used to set the priority. Get priority is used to know the priority. Please note, get priority is to understand the priority. Set priority is used to allocate the priority, to set the priority. OB1 thread A, OB2 thread 2 thread second thread, OB3 the third thread. Set the priority for the first thread, set the priority for the second thread, set the priority for the third thread, right? So these three statements are used. Now OB1 start, OB2 start, OB3 start. Without starting, you can't execute the run block, right? So we need to start the thread. For that, start is used. Now if you see the output, the threads, the program we are running, first thread starts, second thread starts, third thread starts, end of the main thread. Now what is given here? Thread A, thread B, thread C. Thread A is of maximum priority, thread B is of normal priority, thread 3 is of minimum priority. As per our logic, this should work first, then the second one, then the third one. Now let us check the output here. What is happening? The processor, right, has handpicked thread B here, because for thread A the service was may not available, or yes, priority is mentioned, but in case if the resources are not available, then automatically it switch over and it had executed the thread B. So in thread B, J1, J2, J3, J4 it has done. Now once the thread B is completed, for a compiler there are two options, either to pick thread A or thread C. But thread A is maximum priority, thread C is minimum priority. So it handpicks thread A, it completes, then finally it handpicks thread C and it completes. Right here, what we are doing is we are just demonstrating. So there are three threads: thread A, thread B, thread C. Right? Thread A maximum, thread B normal, thread C minimum priority. As per our logic, the thread A should be executed first, but everything, as I already said in the theory class, it totally depends upon that particular condition, situation, and the resource availability. The factors, it depends upon various external factors, right? So considering these factors, here at this particular execution, it has handpicked the thread B. Then it has two options, A and C, because B is completed means A and C are there. Out of B, A and C, it handpicks A, then finally it completes C. There the event, the program ends. Dear students, this is the program which demonstrates the thread priority, because as you all are aware, the thread has got a very special life cycle, and for this particular event, this particular program, the various threads are used here. Three different threads are used, and for all the three threads, the different kind of priority is also set. The program is shared via Google Classroom. Please go through the program, run the program. In case if there are any difficulties, please feel free to approach, contact. Happy programming. Good day. Take care.